Hey guys, welcome to Braddels Gaming and to another episode of my Far Cry 5 community creation series. In this series, I play other people's maps on the Far Cry 5 arcade with the purpose of giving credit to some of the talented creators in the Far Cry community and to provide them with some feedback through some pros and cons, some things that are awesome, and some things that can be improved upon to make their maps better. Now the map that we're going to be playing today is called Reckless Rally Far Cry 2. It was created by NewBillsMafia. It is a journey map and it's on the Xbox One. Now I can only assume that the FC2 in the map name title stands for Far Cry 2 because this is an African setting, and within the Far Cry community the acronym of FC2 is synonymous with the Far Cry 2 game. Now whilst the action shots and the cinematic shots will be taking place on screen with the gameplay to follow very shortly, I'm going to be taking you guys through the pros and cons of this particular map. And the main pro is the sheer scale of this map. There must have been a lot of time and effort that went into crafting the world and the racetrack within it. As you can see, there's a lot of terrain work that went into this map. There's rocks, lakes, vegetation, elevation changes, and even some wildlife, all these elements coming together to create a believable environment and a racetrack that has been excellently crafted to provide a lot of different opportunities for players. There's a lot of narrow tight corners like this canyon below, but there's also wide spaces where you can use them as overtaking opportunities against your friend if you're racing in a co-op. So props to NewBillsMafia for finding the right balance in terms of a challenging racetrack map, but also a racetrack map that can be pretty easy to traverse through. And in terms of the terrain and the wildlife that is on this map, you know, really making it feel like it's part of a larger world, which goes a long way in terms of developing that immersion for the player, which is a really important thing in any game or any game mode, whether it's solo or multiplayer. It's what all the top gaming companies do in terms of their maps, so I think it's a very good example to follow by. Now on to the cons of this map. These are things that NewBillsMafia can improve. There are some rock faces that show the transparent underneath face of the rock assets. This in turn can ruin the immersion of the map, and I understand that in a racetrack map you're probably not going to expect players to jump out of their vehicle and explore, but it's something that I did a few times whilst playing by myself. If NewBillsMafia made another version of this map that was more open world in terms of giving you as the player the opportunity to freely explore and to perhaps maybe take down some enemy outposts, I think there is definitely an opportunity for NewBillsMafia to turn this map into an open world either bounty hunt or outpost map as well, just because it's an interesting map to look at. And so fixing up those rock faces for some of the more curious players in the Far Cry arcade like myself is definitely going to go a long way in terms of maintaining that immersion for the player. My next recommendation involves adding some more invisible walls or invisible barriers. This is to break up the track and to really ensure players are going where you want them to go, and obviously you want players to experience the full racetrack, so adding invisible walls where there are tracks next to each other where players can freely skip parts of the race course is definitely going to go a long way in terms of making sure players stick to the path that you intended them to go, but also in terms of ensuring they have the full experience that you wanted them to have. For example, take the canyon part of the map coming up very soon. The canyon is very narrow in terms of the road, and there is a sharp corner in that part of the map as well, and I definitely feel it adds a different dynamic to the map. A lot of the roads for the majority of this racetrack are quite wide and open, allowing players to easily sort of overtake each other, but the canyon is very singular in terms of how much space there is, and so it can definitely cause a few crashes, which is just a little bit different from the rest of the map and presents a different gameplay opportunity or dynamic for the players. Now very shortly you're going to see the moment where my friend overtakes me. As you guys can see on the left, I just passed a ramp, and that is an awesome I guess initiative by NewBillsMafia to add a key game changer for players in Far Cry, especially because my friend and I were using the same vehicles. I don't think it's possible to overtake someone if they have the same vehicle and they're going at the same speed as you. So adding that jump, it kind of adds a little bit of risk reward. I've tried that ramp a few times, and sometimes it's really easy to use, but other times that ramp can be quite challenging to traverse up and over because there are cattle in the way that you can easily bump into and stop you from using that to its full extent. And so therefore it is a bit of risk reward, but it definitely is a bigger reward if you can use it effectively, like my friend uses in the gameplay. So props to NewBillsMafia for adding another awesome opportunity for players to use as a risk reward situation. Now, as we reach the final part of the map, this is a very important recommendation for NewBillsMafia to fix. It is to increase the volume of the extraction zone. When you're playing this map in solo and you pass through the extraction zone, the map ends no issues. But when you're playing this map in a partnership, like my friend and I are doing so in this co-op, we are most likely to enter the extraction point at different stages due to this being a racetrack map, and so the extraction zone, it's too highly placed, it's too small, and so you can see my friend and I hilariously trying to synchronize our diving to fit into the extraction point at the exact same time. Of course we fail, we're not very good at synchronized diving, and so increasing the volume of the extraction zone so that it goes into the water as well is definitely going to go a long way in terms of allowing players to have that satisfaction of finishing your map in its full glory. I even tried to kill myself here and see if my friend Ghost Chicken can run into the extraction zone himself and complete the map, but that didn't seem to work either. Also, props to Ghost Chicken for winning this race. You truly are a great driver. You can now use this video to rub it in Camel's face. Just a small little inside joke there to finish the video, guys. But if you enjoyed this map, please remember to play it. It is on the Xbox One. And if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like the video, subscribe if you're new around here, and hit the bell icon for future channel notifications. But otherwise, I'm Braddels Gaming, I'm signing out now, and remember to have yourselves a great day.